open-mindedly and seeing all the possibilities of what it could be, he's reading reality based on the belief system and only reading that which confirms the belief overwhelmingly. And we have a thing in Britain called pantomimes at Christmas. They're like for kids and families. And one of the things about pantomimes is, one of the things that they do in all of them is someone standing at the audience and then somebody comes behind them and the audience, the kids in the audience starts shouting, "He's behind you, he's behind you." And then the guy turns round and this guy goes with him and he says, "No, there's nobody there, no, he's behind you." Now that's what is happening with scientists, because they look at something in an experiment but they're decoding it through the left brain. So they're not actually seeing all the possibilities that exist before them, and that's why science goes round and round and round in circles and doesn't move on. As Einstein said, "Science without religion is lame, religion without silence is blind." I'd go further than that. Science without consciousness is lame, religion without consciousness is blind. In fact, religion with consciousness means no religion, I would suggest. So this reality can be, I guess, brought down to this analogy. We live in a holographic internet. I call it the cosmic internet or the holographic internet. If you say to someone, "Tell me about the internet," they'll say it's websites and words and images on a screen. Well, yes, it is. But only on that level, the screen, does the internet exist in that form. Everywhere else, it's electrical circuits, etc., etc. You say to people, "Tell me about television." They'll say, "Yeah, it's pictures on a screen, moving pictures on a screen." Yes, it is. But the only place that television exists in that form is on the screen. Everywhere else, it's vibrational fields and electrical circuits and all the rest of it. And we are the same. The only place that this reality exists is on our screen, which is when we construct it in here. And this is why a number of scientists have said over the years that they believe, and people go, "What?" They believe that this reality only exists when it's observed. It only exists in this form when it's observed. Well, now we can start to see why that is true. Because it is the act of observation, decoding, that brings this reality from the vibrational through the electrical into the construct we call the physical world. When we're not observing it, it's just a vibrational construct. So what is the matrix, as they call it, this reality? It's energetic information. It's all information. And we're decoding information and sending out information which others decode, and that's how it comes together. Now, on another level, the body is a liquid crystal, a liquid quartz crystal. And what are they used primarily for in technology? Receiving and transmitting information. Why are we liquid crystals? Because we are transmitters and receivers of information. That's what we are. We have trillions of cells, and the membrane of every cell is a liquid crystal. We are crystalline form. And how that crystal decodes reality, what it tunes into in terms of frequencies, decides the experience that we have in terms of the world that we experience. DNA is crystalline, and it's a receiver. This is from an article I read on DNA. From the characteristic form of this giant molecule, a wound double helix, the DNA represents an ideal electromagnetic antennae. On one hand, it is elongated and thus a blade which can take up very well electrical pulses. On the other hand, seen from above, it has the form of a ring and thus is a very magnetical antennae. It allows us to pick up the information in the construct and turn it into this reality. This is what the shaman source called Don Juan, I believe, of the Carlos Castaneda books said about this, and he's absolutely spot on. We are perceivers, we are awareness, we are not objects. We have no solidity. We are boundless. We, or rather our reason, forget this, and thus we entrap the totality of ourselves in a vicious circle from which we rarely emerge in our lifetime until we wake up. And so when you look at the way we're manipulated through words and education, programmed, through religion, through all this shite we have in food, electro and chemical manipulation, and through the manipulation of information, news and everything, these are all together affecting the way we receive and transmit information by affecting the way we interact with information. And it creates a vibrational prison which we experience as being, as people say, stuck in the box, stuck in the bubble, stuck in a world of bewilderment where we're floating around, unable to get a grasp on what the hell we are, where we are, and what's going on. These computer connections, these crystalline transmitter-receiver connections, are not, as this is portrayed, connected by wires. Of course not. The way it all works, the way this matrix, this virtual reality works, is exactly the same as the wireless internet. If this theater has wireless internet, I can't see it. Where the hell is it? It's in the no thing, or appears to be. But if it was there, I could program this computer to pick it up out of no thing, and on that screen would come the World Wide Web out of this. And that's what this construct is, this virtual reality universe. It is information operating on vibrational levels that we can't, with invisible light, see. But the body computer system and the receiver-transmitter crystalline system picks it up and turns it into this reality. Now, when we get to the second section and the manipulation, this will become stunningly relevant. So in the Matrix, you had this scene where the Neo character is with the Morpheus guy, and Morpheus is saying, the Matrix is everywhere. It is all around us. Even now in this very room. You can see it when you look out your window or you turn on your television. You can feel it when you go to work, when you go to church, when you pay your taxes. It is the world that has been pulled over your eyes to blind you from the truth. What truth? That you are a slave, Neo. Like everyone else, you were born into bondage, born into a prison that you cannot smell or taste or touch. A prison for your mind. He was describing there the wireless internet that is the construct of this virtual reality universe. We can see in China where they firewall off vast chunks of the internet so they can't access those areas of the internet that would give them information those in authority in China don't want the population to have. Well, as we'll come to in the second half, I strongly believe that's been done to us through genetic manipulation. To firewall the body computer off from levels of reality that we once, long back, experienced. When we were connected to all that is. When this was a very different world, what they call in the ancient writings the Golden Age. And slowly but surely, especially when the genetic manipulation started, our minds were taken over and our sense of reality was hijacked. Putting bubbles within bubbles within bubbles, boxes within boxes, virtual realities we think are real. What is reality? It's the range of frequencies that we are decoding and how we are decoding them. This is a brilliant book by a guy called Michael Talbot, written in the early 1990s about the holographic universe, which is what we live in. And he tells a story in there which kind of really encapsulates what I've been saying. He was at a party at his father's house, just a party, and his father had a stage hypnotist come along to do some party tricks. And he was doing all the usual stuff. And then there was this guy called Tom sitting in the chair, and the hypnotist said to him, When I bring you back to a waking state,